a session and then spun. Green flag back out. The clock running once again.
Well, I think people watching this lap by Mike McDowell as well, because he ran a 15:12 in practice and just ran an 0:1. So that's a car that has picked up a tenth of a second from the fastest he's run today.
Once again, sun on parts of the track.
See all these cars, there's only been 9 cars on the racetrack at this point. And everybody's sitting back waiting. Based on what we saw in extended qualifying, I'm sure I wouldn't go ahead and go and then give myself enough time to make at least another run and possibly 3 runs. Especially if you're 25th, 26th in practice, maybe you can move yourself up. You hurt yourself around 2, but if you can move yourself up, you still move yourself up.
Well, hey, we saw it last week at Watkins Glen, the 70th. Martin Truex Jr. had a great car in qualifying and caught traffic up through the S's and hurt his lap and didn't advance through. The same thing can happen here at Bristol, even though it's this tight little half mile, not a spread out 2.5 mile road course. You still cannot afford to get blocked on your run with only 14 minutes left and only 9 cars have run.
Well, I think they're listening to us because we see Jamie McMurray on the racetrack, Jimmy Johnson on the racetrack, Carl Edwards on the racetrack, Ryan Newman on the racetrack. So we're starting to see some heavy hitters make their way out.
Take advantage of a little bit of a clean track. It was for a moment, and now, as you mentioned, a little more congested on the racetrack.
Jamie with a big wiggle getting into turn 3 and to really chase it up the racetrack. Still went up to 6th with that lap.
Jimmy Johnson puts up a great lap to the top of the board, and Carl Edwards bests it by a 10.5.
14:76 for Carl Edwards.
That's faster than anything we've seen today. The best lap we had seen today was a 14:79.
And so with that big wiggle that we saw from Jamie McMurray, he's only 8th fastest. That's not going to get him in the top 24. But now if you're a team that's going to eventually be on that bubble, you have to be watching that one car thinking he's going to possibly move his way up into it. So if you're 23rd and 24th, you have to assume he's going to find enough speed to get into the top 24.
Kyle Larson about a tenth of a second off what Edwards has run.
He's going to continue trying to make another lap. He shuts it down going into turn 3, it looks like.
15 seconds, 15.1 advance.
I think
top 24.
I didn't think it needs to be a 15.0 something to have a chance. Probably better than an 0.5. Trevor Bayne currently in 7th. I have concern. I'm not sure that's going to get him in. I think it's going to have to be quicker than that when the track picks up and people continue to run for a second time.
Jeff Gordon is 2nd with an 86.
14:86 for Jeff Gordon. The speeds that they're able to average around the track, just over 129 miles an hour for a half-mile racetrack.
And some of it's hard to predict, Rick, because remember, we heard Marty Snyder say a minute ago that the Ford didn't make the qualifying run. So how many other teams did not make the qualifying run? So when you look at it taking a 15.05 in practice, well, if there's 5 or 10 cars that didn't run, it easily could be a 14.95 here in qualifying to move forward.
Riding along with Eric Almirola. Off the gas for so little time.
Eric was 10th fastest in practice, so in a fast race car in practice, he's 7th right now. Won't stay 7th. He'll have to, I don't know if he'll have to run again in a 93. I doubt he'll have to run again.
It's Ryan Blaney with the Virginia Tech colors. Virginia Tech, Tennessee will have the battle at Bristol about 19 days after this race, 22 days.
Ryan Blaney jumps all the way up to 2nd. Chris Buescher up to 13th. That's a team that has to have a good run, has to try to find some points to get into the top 30.
Blaney looking good, 14.74.
I'm actually surprised they ran that second lap break when they jumped up to 2nd. I thought that was going to be good, but how about in 3rd, right behind him, Chris Buescher, with the pressure to make the top 30. Won that race in the rain/fog at Pocono. That gives it a chase berth. If this team can be in the top 30 in points, currently 3 points out.
Casey Kane is 2nd, another guy that needs to have some good runs. He's got to work himself into the top 16, top 15, top 14 in order to transfer, so he's up to 2nd.
And that's what Bristol can do. I know we talked about how dominant Penske and Joe Gibbs Racing has been at this half-mile track, but it's unique, it's different. It's not all about horsepower and aerodynamics. It's about handling. The driver, in my opinion, has even more influence than anywhere, maybe not anywhere, but more than the bigger tracks. He can overcome the deficit of a car that maybe doesn't have the same amount of downforce or horsepower. So these teams could look at this as an opportunity to do what they need to do. As Kyle Busch is going to jump to the top and a 64, only 400ths off the track record, Marty.
And we talked about teams that did not spend a lot of time in qualifying trim. Kyle Busch's team, as you can imagine, after those couple of laps did. They spent 3 runs in that practice working on qualifying. They knew qualifying was going to happen this afternoon, paying off so far. He won both practices, so far fastest here in qualifying.
Joe Gibbs Racing teammates Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth 1 and 2 currently on the board. Now the focus will move to the cut line. Who will be in the top 24 that will advance into the second round? Mike.
When we saw Greg Biffle spin on that one lap he took in this first round of qualifying, during the meantime, his crew chief Brian Patty negotiating with NASCAR officials, trying to get permission to change the tires. They were all flat spotted, and the right rear was all the way down. It took a while, but NASCAR has given them permission. They're going to change 4 tires here. That will give them an opportunity to go back out and make another lap.
Well, you know, opportunity and potentially advantage to put on new tires.
Well, those are scuff tires they're putting on there. Those weren't sticker tires. But I mean, he didn't spin on purpose here at Bristol. I can assure he didn't think, I'm going to slide it down the backstretch and try not to hit any walls. So, I mean, why not? The idea is to move forward. He's currently well outside the top 24, all the way down to 37. So, with only 9 minutes left, if 4 used tires can go on the 16 car, we'll see if he can advance.
One car yet to take to the track for a lap. That's Denny Hamlin. He begins to roll off the pit road now for his qualifying run. We follow Joey Logano. Well, Logano's second quickest on his qualifying run.
And Rick, as we follow cars, you'll notice we're now comparing to the 24th place car of Tony Stewart, who is at a 15.0. We talked about what it's going to take. It's going to take less than a 15-second lap to get below and make sure you're in the top 24.
See how Denny does as his first lap.
Denny running a really smooth, almost a calm lap, if you can believe it. This is going to be a great one. 57, Rick.
And that's a new track record. 14.573. A new track record at Bristol.
That just goes into everything I've ever been told by a driver, that when they drive good and it looks calm, they normally go fastest, because we rode on board. And I'm not saying he wasn't working, Jeff, but it seemed like everything he asked the car to do, it did. He didn't have to catch it.
He just was able to, you would hear how early he was in the throttle. I was up here watching thinking, oh my gosh, that's early. And there's so much grip on the bottom of the racetrack. And again, you just have to stand the throttle and hope it sticks. And when the track gets this fast, you have to have confidence in your car is going to stick. Trevor Bayne moved up the board. He moved up to 15. That now everybody's watching. Everybody saw that. He was able to go fast for the second time out. So the word's out. Get ready for a lot of cars that have to make second run.
I agree. And on the left side of your board, we've slid the line down. You see the cut line below 24th. I'm not sure all the way up to 16th that these drivers don't have to be concerned, because, as you mentioned, there is the opportunity for cars to go out and go faster. So I have to see if, say, perhaps Tony Stewart, Danica Patrick, Brian Scott down there in the mid to low 26th, 27th, 28th, can they advance?
Trevor Bayne went out and on his second run was able to turn a lap under 14.9, and Austin Dillon, that's where he's at, 14.9.
And here's the car right now. I think everybody's watching. He's down in 33rd, but we saw that big wiggle that he had messed up both laps, because it happened in turns 3 and 4, coming to get what would have been the white flag for his 2 runs. So that messed up both laps. So let's see if he can move himself up. I think he has the opportunity to move himself well up into the top 24 based on how loose the car was.
Big wiggle there, though, coming out of turn 4. See if he can do better this lap. Last time exiting turn 4, big wiggle for Jamie McMurray.
And it's just so hard. You heard how early the 11 of Denny Hamlin had to commit to the throttle to run those lap times. That looseness or uncomfortable feeling in the back of the car. Jamie McMurray runs faster, but only 26 quick.
So this car will be going again. You have to know they're going to go again. They're going to make adjustments to the car and try to make it better. They have plenty of time here. It's not a matter of getting the engine cooled down like we would at a big racetrack. They can get it cooled down, so he will make another run.
Just under 6 minutes to go in round number 1. Ryan Newman on the track and in the green, so he was looking good. Newman goes 20th, quickest above that cut line. Kevin Harvick as well. Matt DiBenedetto, 23rd. Very emotional race for him. He was here in the spring. A 6th place finish for Matt DiBenedetto.
Kevin Harvick's trying to improve on his current time of 21st.
Well, you heard he had to get out of the throttle. He went to the throttle, but had to get back out of it coming off of 4.
That thing is just way too loose. The 95 back on the track. Michael McDowell currently just below the cut line. Only needs to find a little bit of speed from his 15.01 earlier. Now, this first lap we see, guys, we're going to see a lap that's 4/10, 5/10 of a second off. That's really how the cars enter the racetrack. They roll around from the front to the backstretch. They leave backstretch pit road and blend off turn 4. That's why this first lap we're seeing is 6 or 7 tenths off. Although Michael McDowell, not quite better, but Paul Menard jumps all the way up to the 11th position.
And it looks like Clint Boyer. He caught the outside wall.
Well, Jeff, you talk about how you have to commit. The 15 commits, the car gets sideways. He does a nice job of not hitting the wall harder, but it's definitely some damage.
As you can see, he got into the corner, then to the throttle. Now he's up the racetrack a little bit. It happens so quick. I mean, you have to go to the throttle to make enough time. I mean, he was not fast enough. He was 31st fastest. You have to push to try to get in the top 24. Pushed, went to go to the throttle, got up out of the groove, and then was off the ride.
Well, because let's be honest, he's 31st fastest at a 15.10. It takes a 14.95 to make. We're talking a tenth and a half. Right. That's not. I mean, you probably could feel it. Rick, you and I probably couldn't feel a tenth and a half. You know, a little bit earlier to the gas, a few feet earlier, a little bit more commitment.
What's crazy is the tenth and a half is like very, very nice. When you run a tenth and a half quicker at Bristol, it feels like a second quicker. I mean, it is so noticeable to the driver.
Well, and you were telling us that you were talking with Jamie McMurray after the practice, and how he was mentioning how fast it feels now that they're back on the bottom of this racetrack.
Yeah, no question. You can see Clint just up the racetrack a little bit, contact with the wall, but yeah, this racetrack, when the racetrack is reconfigured and the groove moved up the racetrack, it took a little of intensity out of the car. It took, you did not pull the same amount of G-force. And now that it's back on the bottom and the track is so fast, we just broke a track record. That feels crazy fast. And it's just, things happen quick. It's a lot of G-forces. The car moves around. I mean, it is a handful.
Like Lynette Pilot, number 46, back out on the track. Lynette was 39th quickest at a 15.521.
He doesn't have the speed, 26. He's a half a second off 24th. You know, you were just talking about a tenth and a half, and how much that feels to be off. You know, that's a lot, almost insurmountable to catch and find here at a half-mile track.
Can't find any more speed. Danica Patrick also on the track. Danica's fastest lap 15.032. That's really good enough for 29th.
We're on another.
She keeps digging and is told to run another one. 2 minutes left in this qualifying round. Tony Stewart also back out on track.
What's interesting is Matt DiBenedetto has joined him on track. Even though he's in the 24th position, I think he has confidence that he believes Tony Stewart can bump him. So he's going to go out there and try to improve his time. Although, Jeff, I just don't know why he didn't wait. With a minute 40, that's a lot of time at Bristol. I feel he could have just waited.
Well, I think the problem is if you do wait and something happens, you get blocked in, you don't get a chance. I kind of like the fact that he went ahead and rolled a little bit early. Again, if he makes a top 24, that's a win for this team. I don't think that they're not racing for the pole.
Right.
So he needs to try to protect that top 24 spot. So I kind of like the fact that he rolled early. If there's a little better car, then waiting, I think is the right thing to do. But just trying to protect and do everything you can, I don't think that's wrong.
Well, Jamie McMurray is also back out on the track again.
Your boy Kevin Harvick is on the track as well. He's at 22nd, so they must feel what you're saying, Jeff, that someone's going to find more speed this last minute.
Or maybe they don't feel the tires fall off that much and go ahead and make a run and work on your car. Try to make your car better. Make a change to your car to see if you can help the car. So there may be some of that in their minds as well.
Some drivers, we mentioned Kevin Harvick, might not have had an opportunity to go out and do a mock qualifying run in practice earlier, taking advantage of this opportunity to get another run in. 35 seconds to go in round one.
Murray's team's going to be disappointed if they can't transfer through. They're in that chase standings battle with their teammate Kyle Larson. They had a little good fortune if you're the James Murray in the one car. You gained some points on your teammate Kyle Larson at the end of last week's race, but you have to continue to put the pressure on, and qualifying back in 28th just leaves yourself open to issues early in the race.
And there was 6 fastest in practice. There were 6 fastest at a 89, and the best I could find in qualifying was a 17. So when most people picked up, they slowed down. So you go from 6 all the way down to 28th.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Rick, it's Joe Gibbs 1, Joe Gibbs 2, Penske 3, Joe Gibbs 4, Penske Associated Car 5. So that whole story about Joe Gibbs and Penske running well here, I think it's continuing in qualifying.
And remember who broke up the 12-race streak that they had?
Yeah, good point.
Casey Kane. And by the way, he's breaking up the dominance once again. He's 6th. Carl Edwards is 7th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 25th quickest, not able to break into the top 24. Denny Hamlin a little bit stingy around the racetrack. He held the old track record, doesn't want anyone to have it, so he broke it himself. New track record for Hamlin.